we'll get land. Well, that wasn't what you intended. You told that lie to us. And once we left, you made sure that we won't get our freedom, or you'll try to take our freedom and we won't get land.
That's right.
So us being honorable people, did the right thing in the agreement to adhere to the treaty, so to speak. And then we trusted the government to honor their word.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah, as usual. Huh? Yes, ma'am. Reading the stories, doing research, why, when I see white historians mostly, that they refer to Seminoles such as John Horace, your family, as black Seminoles and not just Seminoles? Why is it always this difference being made between black Seminoles and then the regular Seminoles? Why is that always such a thing?
I think it's just because that's how we've been conditioned. You
Right.
know, we're conditioned that the color is the most important component. And when you see us, even though we have variety of colors,
Right.
the one thing that when they look at John Horace, if that picture is actually accurate of him, that his skin tone is a darker skin tone.
Right.
That's why they do it, black. And then now, as time has gone on, we have, I don't know, got this sense of that black is an empowering thing. So we have to make sure we put that first because,
Right.
you know, being black is the foundation or the number one word. That's not just white historians, it's black historians as well. And to me, I think there's this agenda, because if I can separate you from the truth, your indigenous roots, then I can justify what I did to you. That's in my opinion. And so as long as I can keep you black, and in America being a slave country,
Yep.
then I can say, oh, well, I didn't have any, loyalties to you. You don't have any rights. You didn't have any rights to the land. When that's, again, a misnomer. Because Seminole, the word itself, is mixed. It's the mixture of the three groups.
Simple, really. By the powers given to me from dark magic. Would you like to do the same? All you need to do is trade me your soul.
It's a one-on-one true RPA ball schemes.
Actually, I have chills right now.
Indigenous, runaway slave, if you speak, but free black people. And see, they say that really small. It's like a little small print. That free black people,
part,
right? that little, and they fade it out there. That free part, and
Yes,
I'm like, that's the whole key. These three groups, all same freedom, right? Indigenous is free, free black people's free, and then escaped slaves were what? Seeking freedom.
That's right.
Free.
Yes.
So why do we need or have that I don't know what to call it, to put that black on there, or their need
Yeah.
is again to separate us from what is truly ours. But we as the community, it's not the color, it's culture and community. And that's what we stick on, that's what we stay on, that's what we'll die on. Culture and community, that's who we are.
That's great. Being free during those times, I could only imagine all the things that John Horace and his people had to go through, your people. How fierce of a warrior was John Horace and also your people as well?
Oh, we were very fierce. Like I said, us maintaining our freedom. We had one skirmish, as we would call, when we went to Mexico. The Texas Rangers, everybody knows about them, right? Yeah, you'll hear that.
Baseball team as well. Turn that into.
Right. But there's a little known story is when they tried to come get us in the 1800s, 1850s, to get us from Mexico, that they got their butts whipped and, tails sent packing. But the story is not told that way in their history books. The story is told that the Mexican army came in and there was just too many numbers for them to come get us, or they would have gotten us. No,
True.
no, no, no. I mean, it's the truth. I mean,
Yeah.
we are fierce fighting people now, and if we've proven it, we've proven it in the Seminole Wars. And when you thought we just forgot those skills when we went to Oklahoma, no, those skills kept us free when we went to Mexico, and the Mexican government recognizes our skills and put us to work as the first border patrol.
Wow.
And people, it today as, it's more border patrol on this side, but we were the first border patrol. So, and then when we became scouts in the 1800s, our regiment is known to not lose a man in their history.
That's
In the
amazing.
1870 to 1914, not one person was lost during battle.
Wow.
Now we've had deaths because people, different diseases and whatnot, but no one was lost in battle. And we have 4 Medal of Honor recipients in that group. The largest in one single group, 4. So I think we can prove that we were able to fight.
Hey, it speaks for itself.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Speaking about fights, battles, and wars, we hear about the Civil War, American Revolution, but not about the Seminole Wars. What occurred during the Seminole Wars? What happened during that time?
Well, a lot of battles happened during that time. Again, you got the Okeechobee battle with Taylor, General Taylor, I'm sorry, which became president. Then you got the Waxahachie battlefield, and which is, I think, so overlooked because it was only a 2-hour battle.
Wow.
It's 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours in your lifetime.
Wow.
2 hours. And the significance in that was the sheer amount of opposition. It was like maybe 15, again, estimated numbers, 1,500 plus Army soldiers against 200 or less Seminoles, and mostly of those were women and children. And the significance of that is that my grandmother, again, is not Juana, she was not there. See, in our community, we have lots of grandparents that are in this Seminole history. And my Bowlegs, my Payne grandparents were there. One of my grandmothers was 6 years old at Waxahachie battlefield on the ground with her parents, and her brothers and sisters, right, were there. And her future husband there. Combined, don't overlook it. Just because when you think Indian or you think indigenous or whatever term you want, that it has to be this idea or this photograph.
Right.
Indigenous is indigenous to the community, regardless of your color. And I think once we say that we're indigenous or we're part of that indigenous group, that somehow we're saying we're not black. But that's not what we're saying, And then when we're in Nacimiento, Mexico, if we're saying you were born in Mexico, somehow I'm not black.
Right.
Like, it's not true.
Yeah.
So those cultures and those communities that we're a part of needs to be more, talked about, because if you keep just saying black, that's one dimensional. And we're not. We're very layered. We're very complex people and have so many different aspects in our culture that were significant. But if you just lay on to just one part, black, then you're losing everything that to me makes our community and our culture special.
Yes, ma'am. Andrew Jackson, Indian Removal Act, and the laws, all of those things. What factors did those things play in the lives of John Horace and for Juana as well, and your people?
Well, the significant thing was the loss of property, right? Our loss of property, because our freedom in our minds was never an issue. Like, we weren't going to lose it. That we're going to maintain that.
Right.
But if we had to move, because that's a part of our culture, they've moved in Florida time and time again. It's okay, we can move. But our freedom, we were not going to give up. So when we agreed to their terms, and then they did not adhere to their part of the bargain, and we lost our community property. That is the most significant thing. And over time, and in John Horse's own words, again, he's the one speaking for the people, but the sentiment is the same. The people wanted their home life, just, like anyone. You want to just be able to live in your own home, with your freedom, and do your own life without anyone, trying to come against you. That's all you wanted.
Yes, ma'am.
And we lost that once we moved or removed to Oklahoma. And we found that we regained that when we went to Mexico, because we have the land, we have the community there, that we were, reunited with the land.
Yes, ma'am.
But the longing for the loss of Florida lands, our homelands, never went away.
Wow.
Never went away. And so that was always the sentiment. I want to be back in my homeland of Florida. But that never happened. Never happened for my grandmother. It never happened for John Horse. In anyone in the community, really. You didn't come back. You didn't come back to Florida. And I think that was their main disappointment, that they weren't able to come back to the land.
Wow. You living in Florida right now, what sense of pride are you feeling, if you feel any sense of pride of being back in Florida right now?
Well, I feel elated
Yes,
because I was brought here. I didn't have any inclination that I would be in Florida.
Wow.
None whatsoever. I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
and I was not thinking of Florida in
Yes,
any
ma'am.
way. But my path has been ordained for me. And I was meant to come here to Florida. And every step in my life brought me here. And that's when I came here, it was, again, you are ordained. And I'm not the only one. My cousins are here. They're Payne family lines. Again, we're here. We've been brought here to Florida because our ancestors want us here. And they want us to continue to understand what has happened in our history. And we are the redemption or reclaiming,
Yes, ma'am.
so to speak. And that's what I feel like I've done. I have come full circle for Juana to come back here. And like it gives me goosebumps because like what else can you do to honor the ancestors as to go back to the land where they were and live a great life,
That's
right?
right.
Like that's what you should do.
Yes, ma'am. The Paynes and the bow legs, what impact have they had on you of being part of that family lineage as well?
It's so funny. They're all equal, I guess you could say, because they all have the same spirit, that same resistance, that same love for freedom, and it's not just them; it's every layer. The Vasquez line, like I said,
Yes,
that's not a Seminole line. My grandfather, I'm not gonna say great because I'll tell you, I'll say grandfather. So he wanted freedom too, but he came as a kid to Mexico. He's a 10-year-old kid coming to Mexico. There's no inclination like a 10-year-old. I'm gonna go get freedom. He didn't have that intention. He was 10 years old, an orphan, and ended up in Mexico because of many different events. And it's a long story, so I won't go into it here. But he ended up uniting or coming with the Seminole tribe there in Nacimiento, marrying into the family there.
Chevy makes America's most dependable trucks. Because in a Chevy truck, dependable.
And having 13 kids who all intermarried with, again, all the Seminole tribe. So when you go to Nacimiento, there's 95% chance that you are a descendant in some way from the Vasquez family. You are related to us.
That's amazing. Yes, ma'am. Growing up, what was life like for John Horse and for Juana as well growing up?
Growing up in Florida,
Yes, ma'am. for them.
It was free. You see, you hear the stories about John Horse being a trickster, right? Like, and I think, which is so interesting, is that they keep this slave connotation. If you buy into that connotation, the slave, that they were slave, how can you be trickster? Like, you have this constant fear.
He would get in trouble.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So why would he get out here when he knows
Right.
you know you're going to get in
Very
trouble?
great observation.
Right. But why would he do that? That makes no sense. And so the sense to me, and again, the family, just the history and feeling the vibes of my family, there was no fear. We didn't have fear because we were free. So it's 1 + 1 = 2, but
That's
you're
right.
trying to push in and say, no, it's 5. No, the slavery and the threat of slavery or re-enslavement. I love that re-enslavement. How can you be re-enslaved when you were never
In the first place.
enslaved?
Yes, ma'am.
But never. So that, I think in the way I feel it and the way our community is that they were free and they lived a uncomplicated life, just living on the land, living day to day, building, doing their crops, doing the traditions that we do as indigenous people.
Yes, ma'am. During this time, we have cell phones, technologies everywhere, living on the land. It's crazy now because it's like the average man, if you asked him to create something in the woods, he wouldn't be able to build a home or start a fire, any of those things. How can we get back to reconnecting, if you will, with the land again?
Oh man, I don't know if we'll be able
that's
to.
heavy, it takes a while, I
The
know.
technology is hard to put it down. That's a
It's a
good
long
one.
way.
That's a good one. Well, for us in our community, it's not as difficult because we haven't left it.
That's good. Yeah.
So because we're still maintaining that. I guess the ones that are on the outer edge, because we're all over the world now, and for me, which is interesting, the growing up in Vegas, there's no
desert.
farms like that. You're not going to see a farm there.
Yes, ma'am.
But my path, my life has introduced me to a man who is he calls himself a farm boy, and country boy.
Yes, ma'am.
And his mother, his family line, they plant crops, and I'm looking at them, and it's interesting to see, but me and my aura. I guess that Vegas upbringing, I'm not getting out there. I'm not gonna do it.
Yes, ma'am.
I do my shopping, the old-fashioned way at the grocery store. That's how I do it.
Yes, ma'am. I get it. Growing up, what was life like being in Vegas, but then, in that same breath, knowing the beautiful long line of great people that you came from? What was that like for you growing up?
For me, it was, I think it was just seamless because it's the same. When you're in Vegas, it's glitz and glam, and you're seeing all of these things that you could be, right? Because that's the moniker.
Right.
But same way what we did, we the maintaining of the freedom of our freedom is the same as if you feel when you get into the Vegas casino and you hear on all the lights and the little chingling, and you're like, oh, I got it. I'm excited. That's the same spirit we had in Nacimiento and Brackettville, Texas. And then when you go to these communities now, they would call small towns. And when you're in a small town, there's not a lot of economic stimulus like Vegas. Like when you go to Vegas, you're just dripping in money, right? When you go to Brackettville, there's no money dripping. Brackettville, there's no money dripping there.
Gotcha.
And when you go to Nacimiento, it's the same. But the riches aren't in money. It's not monetary. The riches is in the people,
Yes, ma'am.
the culture, the spirit that got us there. Now that you cannot pay for. That's not a lottery win you're going to get, and you're not getting it at the casino.
Yes, ma'am. John Horse, he was fearless. Your family, your grandmother, Juana, everybody. How did your people, I would say, maintain that sense of being fearless all the way up to you today?
I think it's just inbred in us. That is born through and through. through and through. That was who we are, who we were then, who we are today, who our children are going to continue to be, because that's what we instill. I still instill that into my children and my grandchildren especially, and I can see it in them because, you know, our grandchildren, they put you through. But that's the stock they came in on. So I think that's just in our blood. That's who we are. That's who we always will be, have been. So.
Yes, ma'am. John Horace, what adversities and opposition did he and his people face from going to Oklahoma and then going down to Texas or to Mexico as well?
The same adversities is the culture. When the Seminole Wars hit, there was this, I guess it's we call it a separation. And to me is in community. Like I said, we keep talking community and culture. Now, when they introduced the color and the complexion because of money, see, that's the key, the money.
Right.
That money part started separating us. Now, what's interesting in the family is that there's no word in the indigenous language for cousin, right?
Wow.
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, right. So you got all these other words, mother, brother, sister, father, whatever. But cousin is not a word. And when you get in these cousin relationships, there's a distance that you will feel okay that I can do bad stuff. And so when that colorism came in and me and you could be cousins and I'm fairer than you, now I'm going to get money for you. That moral turpitude is out the door.
Right.
And that's why I feel like that's what happened when we were removed. It was the cousin relationships that started getting influenced by money. And once I can get my money, I could care less about my cousins. For me in the community, my sole purpose is to put us cousins together, because we're the ones who's got to fix it. The cousins relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
And me and my cousins, even some that didn't know we were cousins, some that know we were cousins, and we all have very, very opinionated, thing. But we are the one. I tell my cousins that we are the generation from 65 to 40. This generation is the one that's got to fix it. If we don't fix it here, it's lost.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have the information. We have the financial ability.
That's right.
We have the education.
That's right.
To do it. That's us. We have the trifecta.
That's right.
And if we don't get it together, then it's going to be gone.
Yes, ma'am.
And our cousins, my cousins, we all have the same passion to get the history together, the truth of our history.
That's right. Colorism, what impact has that had on our psyche, somewhat, of us thinking, to your point earlier, always into this black and white, or to, oh, she's lighter than me, or I'm darker than her? How do we kind of break that chain somewhat, do you think?
Oh, I don't. It's the breaking of the chain to me is to get back to the family.